You ready for this?
I'm ready when you are.
All righty then.
I'm here.
All right. You ready?
Miramax.
Let's do it.
All right. You ready for this?
Y'all ready for this?
Jeez.
So I think I'm ready for this. Let's begin. Are you ready?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
This video is Psychblade.
Y'all ready for this?
First question, are you both ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to play? You ready to go?
Oh, I'm ready.
You ready to keep going?
Let's do it.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Andrew, and that's Brandon over there.
Hello, and welcome to the show. You're listening to Namely 90s. This is Andrew. And of course, over there, we've got the wonderful Brandon. That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s as usual. I'm Andrew. Over there, we've got Brandon. That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew. Over there, as usual, is Brandon. That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there is Brandon. That's right, you're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon. That's right, you're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon. That's right, you're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon. That's right. That is right. You are listening to Namely 90s.
Woo!
My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
You can, as usual, find us online at namely90s.com or on Instagram and Bluesky at namely90s. You can also find the show on YouTube every Monday at youtube.com/@namely90s. And finally, if you'd like to support our show, head over to patreon.com/namely90s, also with a 90s, to get signed up for one of our support levels. Hey, it's almost like we just heard most of that like 20 times.
Yeah.
But I felt I had to do it still.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I wrote that in the intro.
Yes.
For those of you that aren't aware, it's our 4-year extravaganza. We do this every year. We look back at the last year of Namely 90s, but this year, Andrew thought we should start looking back at all of Namely 90s.
A retrospective of the retrospectives, if you will.
Yeah, which I didn't exactly do, but
no.
We if you were listening just now, that was Andrew's first intro. I think the second
recorded
one,
on a cheap Chinese headset from my car.
I forgot about
over
that.
tethering from a Yokes parking lot in Spokane, Washington.
Yeah. That was before you had the studio. And then the second one, I think, was from Podcast of Horror 1, followed by Yeah.
Yep.
Followed
is there
by,
more? Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just like, like every 6 months I picked one and then put it in there. And then.
So it's kind of like a progression of my talent.
Yes. And then I finished it out. Once you hit the stride of saying the same thing over and over again, then I just was like, okay, now we just need That's Right a couple times from this year. And
big news.
Yes.
For our 4-year extravaganza, I have finally created a working contact form on our website.
Praise him. That means I can't make the joke at the end.
It's like my white whale. I've been trying to do that thing since like the beginning of time.
Congratulations, Captain Ahab. Well, I mean, there was also the redirecting just like fans at namely90s.com to our email. Catch.
That would have been probably the easiest, but I felt like I had to do this to prove that I could.
Yeah, you said you did that like a year ago.
And it never worked. Hey, I did fix the website though.
Good to know. Good to know. What'd you do?
The load times. Remember the load times are garbage. It took like 6 seconds to load our website.
Yes, and I just
it was like a disused plugin
said,
that I could have just uninstalled for like 2 years ago.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, Andrew told me this is the load times. This is it's cheaper. We got a new host, whatever. I'm like, all right, sure. I'm not paying for it. This part of the production.
Yeah, all of the stuff did not transfer nicely when we switched hosts.
No, it did not. Well, no, that was, I'm sorry, that was actually me. When I updated WordPress last, it definitely broke most of the widgets on your site.
It's working now. And shout out to the people over at DreamHost who actually like analyzed my site and figured out why it was broken.
Oh, that's cool.
And allowed me to fix it.
They helped you with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the website is finally fleshed out.
Yeah.
With features that make it usable.
Congratulations.
It's a basic website. Thank you. Thank you.
We should reward you with a clip from our past year.
All right.
But yeah, if you want to contact us through our website, you can go to namely90s.com and click on that contact form in the upper bar.
Yeah.
I assume that's where it is. I don't actually.
It is. Or namely90s.com/contact.
Nice. But yeah, as we do a clip show. So you're going to hear our top 10 clips from this year. I didn't really order them this year, except I think my favorite one is last. And instead of our top 10 from the past year, we're doing a top 8 and then 2 of our favorite classic clips from the last 4 years. Yeah. But we're starting out with episode 188, We Out Pizza the Hut, the Big New Yorker Taste Test. We were eating the Big New Yorker, and yeah, Andrew has some choice words about out pizzaing the Hut, and I have some choice words about what Pizza Hut cheese tastes like.
All right, let's do this. But like the Pizza Hut parlors are like coming back now.
There was one in Tri-Cities that's the last time I had pizza last year. Or Pizza Hut was last year in Tri-Cities, and they had like a full sit-down Pizza Hut parlor, but no one was in there, and I got it to go. So it's like, how many people? I mean, how many Little League games are there in a day that you go to Pizza Hut afterwards?
I do think some places do out Pizza the Hut.
Well, I was expecting. Oh, there's that sweetness you were talking about. I was expecting not to like this as much because the last time I had the stuffed crust, but like it was the like cheese stuffed roll crust. And their stuffed crust cheese tastes like vomit to me. It's not good. Whatever they use it's like a little sour milk, and it just it did not taste good, and I had to eat that entire pizza in like a night because I was flying out the next day.
I think the crust is pretty spot on.
I mean, for being translated to Pizza Hut.
Is it just me, or all those mouth sounds kind of erotic?
I know, right? I thought I'd start us out with some fun. This year was a lot of erotic noises, a little gay baiting. All the
shout out, by the way, to the Bothell, Washington Pizza Hut, who attempted to out pizza. Well, not out Pizza the Hut, but did get out pizza by someone other than the Hut.
It is difficult to not be out pizza.
I can't in good conscience say that I would order that again.
No, I would order it over other Pizza Hut items.
But like the more I thought about it in subsequent days or eating it cold, I became slightly nauseated.
I think I liked it better cold, if I'm being honest. Yeah. You want to introduce our first package?
Speaking of cold, we're going into the deep freeze where we keep the deep dives, which we're going to listen to portions of now. Right? Yeah, and now let's conclude by talking about the whitest sport in history, including many great achievements on the ice. No, I wrote this. Whoops. Oh. I thought I just stole it, but I actually wrote this. The 90s was an eventful decade in the NHL, including many great achievements on the ice, drama behind the scenes, and some woeful TV broadcast innovations, in air quotes, that would be mocked for decades to come. So it's interesting. They actually still use the Fox Tracks moniker as a branding tool for other on-screen tracking graphics in other sports, such as a virtual strike zone during baseball games and statistics displayed during NASCAR events. They just applied it as like an overlay to the broadcast based on the speed the puck was moving across the screen. The system utilized a modified hockey puck cut in half to embed an array of infrared emitters, a shock sensor, and an embedded circuit board and battery. The halves of the puck were then bound back together using an epoxy. All right, well, that concludes my 90s hockey thing. If you're interested in hockey, check out the Stanley Cup playoff.
Samuel Leroy Jackson. And God, I just want to say Leroy, except Jackson, not Jenkins. His performance was so acclaimed that at the 1991 Cannes Film Festival, they added a special supporting actor award just for him for that role.
Wow.
He also worked with director Steven Spielberg in 1993's Jurassic Park. And that's full circle for you.
Yeah, where he's known for the famous line, "Hold on to your butts."
Anything that he is in is instantly better because he's in it.
Yeah.
Even if it's bad.
Yeah.
Which not always true of Nick Cage movies. So
Okay. We're here so that you don't have to read the Wikipedia. We basically boil Wikipedia down to something you can listen to.
And if you don't feel like listening to Wikipedia or reading the Wikipedia or hearing about anything with Wikipedia, we have other episodes.
Harrison Ford doesn't have a middle name, by the way.
Really?
At one point, he was credited as Harrison J. Ford. He just made the J up. So he took
Jack
over
Ryan.
the role from Alec Baldwin,
Yep.
who had played Ryan in Hunt for Red October. But this apparently led to a long-lasting resentment from Baldwin, who said he wanted the role back, but Ford had negotiated for it behind his back. And almost gets caught in a tunnel, but evades the marshal by slipping into a storm drain.
What I want from each and every one of you is a hard target shirts of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, henhouse, outhouse, and doghouse in that area.
Perfect casting. His crime now is escaping.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
Kimball turns around and jumps off a spillway over a dam, escaping, which is clearly just a dummy that's thrown off.
Yes.
It's got like horrible ragdoll physics. It just drops like a brick.
We're going to take a deep dive into Barbie for the Barbie movie, which admittedly looks interesting. Yeah.
So let's see. The Marilyn Monroe Barbie comes with a bottle of pills. Rosie O'Donnell comes with a koosh ball slingshot. And the Sinatra one comes with a glass of bourbon.
You know, I would bet that one of those things are true. The family series, which was quick to retire after absurd I can't even say it. Absurd accusations of promoting teenage pregnancy, since she's like Barbie's best friend, and Barbie was supposed to be teenage at that time, right? So Midge gets married, Midge gets knocked up, Midge has a child.
It's a toy.
One of these 270 phrases was, "Math class is tough," which led to criticism from the American Association of University Women.
So anyway, what I thought we would do for this week's deep dive episode, as you know, we switch off every week between a deep dive and a variety show. This week, we are going to go to the 90s movies, but specifically the 90s biggest opening weekends, because, hey, we just had a big opening weekend, and I thought, let's look at some of the big opening weekends from the 90s.
I thought Forrest Gump was a slow burn.
I remember being stuck with a babysitter, so my parents could go see that. And
I bet it was like some people went out to see it, and then it spread and it spread and it spread. Kind of like how I imagine like Napoleon Dynamite did their first weekend. Like people were probably like, "What?
I'm so.
I guess I have to go Rainforest."
I knew you'd go to Rainforest Cafe. That'd be the one thing if we had to do like the Newlywed Game, and they asked what her favorite restaurant was.
Had I had more time, I would have prepped a Newlywed Game for you guys. We're talking special editions today. Not like, special editions of a Pokemon card. No, we're talking about special editions of Star Wars. But here are some of the notable differences across the franchise or the trilogy special editions. There's a bunch of dewbacks and
that
extra stormtroopers. Yes.
I think it's because of that South Park episode.
Exactly. Greedo shoots first before getting killed by Han Solo.
Right. before being killed in cold blood by
Hanzo. So this new number is called Jedi Rocks, and it introduced a new singer/creature and way too many sexy aliens.
Is this as good as the little dance in Gremlins 2?
It's that's how it looked in the original scene.
In the next version, Han Solo is going to go back in time and smother Greedo as an infant with a pillow.
in honor of the fact that The Equalizer 3, starring Denzel Washington, is coming out September 1st.
We're doing a Dakota Fanning episode.
Yes, she's actually in this one.
Exactly.
But anyway, we're gonna talk about Denzel Washington, who for me is one of my favorite actors. The problem is all the movies of his I like are from the 2000s.
Yes.
The second half, we're gonna just talk through some of the movies from the 90s. I'm not gonna go into a ton of detail because there's a lot of them, but I think we should all be aware of them. And then we may have a short BuzzFeed quiz at the end. And starring Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. It's filmed on location in its namesake city. It tells the story of attorney Andrew Beckett, played by Tom Hanks, who comes to ask a personal injury attorney, Joe Miller, played by Washington, to help him sue his employers who fired him after discovering he was gay and that he had AIDS.
Let's get in the deep dive then.
Let's dive deeply.
Collecting culture hit a fever pitch in the 1990s, with speculative markets promising high returns in a market that was too oversaturated with product to actually make money on anything. In December of 1998 / January of 1999, they started publishing the U.S. and international edition of the Pokemon trading card game, which had been going in Japan since 1996. At the top, we have a PSA graded 10 Pikachu Illustrator. The Pikachu Illustrator is the rarest and most expensive Pokemon card ever sold in history. It was acquired by douchebag Logan Paul for $5,275,000 in July of 2021.
I guess it's celebrity and collector, and you just couldn't read it. Like, giant.
I translated it correctly.
This is the person who thought Oppenheimer was boring because it was all talking.
This week, in honor of the X-Files turning 30 years old, the premiere of the X-Files, we're taking a deep dive into the Wikipedia page of the X-Files.
But for our English class, I had to do a debate, and it was on euthanasia, and which I thought the teacher had said youth in Asia.
The youth in Asia today,
which means I definitely knew so much about the topic. He has a great speech in this series finale, or the original series finale of the X-Files, about the truth and finding it, and something about courts and whatever. So I just completely ripped that for my closing statement on.
You notice how he said, "This is my truth" a lot, and like that's not my truth. This is my truth.
Oh,
people who say that don't understand what the truth is.
Yes, because this is a long one. In honor of Frasier coming back this week, I deep dived into all 11 seasons of Cheers and all 11 seasons of Frasier. Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of seasons.
Yes, it is. I started this a month ago.
Yes, I've never been to AA before, but I understand that there's what they call the Big Book, which is like the sort of the Bible for AA. Pretty sure the first sentence is "Don't work at a bar."
Sorry, he owns the bar.
First sentence is "Don't own a bar."
Going back to watching Cheers and Frasier, I definitely adopted some of his mannerisms and pomposity over the years. It's like really humbling to see where that all began back in the 90s.
In honor of the release of their 9th studio album, One More Time, which came out on October 20th, and marking the return of Tom DeLonge, and therefore reuniting Blink-182's best-known lineup for the first time in 7 years, we're going to take a deep dive into a 90s and early 2000s music sensation, Blink-182.
Sorry, just one quick thing before you start. Their last studio album was called 9.
And it was their 8th studio album.
How did I not know that?
It was a total mind F. I was like, what? What? As you know, as I say, every episode I've been listening to Old Love Line, and I just listened to an episode from 1998 where they played their song Josie, and it literally sounded like toddlers banging on pots and pans and recording it with a talk boy. Well, you could have almost like, what we should do is just record a bunch of me going like, yeah, Cool. And then just like intersperse that throughout this so I can just go.
I know, right? So pull out your phone and get ready to listen to the deep dive. What was I going to call this?
Do it up here.
Doctor Who in the 90s. No, the history of Doctor Who in the 90s.
Doctor when? The 90s.
The TARDIS gets hit by some like energy field, and then you just see him like pass out on the floor with this like cheap wig on, and then he starts regenerating.
I like that. That's the US. Like the Doctor regenerates and then immediately is killed by gang violence. There's zero chance I'll be watching this show, just so you know.
It's on Disney Plus. It's David Tennant. He was on top here.
Zero chance.
Neil Patrick Harris.
I think it's time for a deep dive.
Let's do it. I think it's your week.
No, just kidding. We're going to talk about Matthew Perry.
Rip to the max.
Rip to the max. I like how there's a section on this article called Why LAX 2194 Failed, as if we needed to explain that. Friends was hugely successful, and it made Perry an international celebrity.
International.
Let's see. In 2009, he starred in the film 17 Again, playing a 37-year-old man who transforms into his 17-year-old self, played by Zac Efron, after an accident. Yeah, so we are doing a deep dive episode.
Yes, final one of the year. Apparently Macaulay Culkin got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame last week. So we're going to look back at Home Alone.
Let's do it. The one thing from 1990 that we actually know something about.
Yes, because everyone's watched it. And Culkin plays Kevin McAllister, a boy who defends his suburban Chicago home from a home invasion by a pair of robbers after his family accidentally leaves him behind on their Christmas vacation to Paris. Get to the chopper. I am not above it.
Why does this guy have an accent? His name's John Smith.
It can't be John Smith. I know we've gone over this, but how is it John Smith? I am not above it. Any final thoughts on Home Alone?
No.
Or more final thoughts on Jingle All the Way?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, so...
You definitely found the best moments from the deep dives, because there was a lot of drudgery and boredom in those too. As you can see, we're just here watching audio play, so on the YouTube episode. So it's like you can see Andrew actually thinks we're funny, which he rarely. Some of the stuff that we say. Oh man, I'm sorry, I can't. Oh gosh.
Speaking of which,
I'm laughing a lot. Unlike
unlike this next topic, Adam Sandler movies. This is from a recent episode 199, Clueless with Kayla, because she forced you to watch Clueless, and somehow we got into Adam Sandler movies before.
Of course, because you immediately think Adam Sandler when you think about the movie Clueless. That's real hard hitting stuff there.
I gotta say, it's not every other Adam Sandler movie. It's 1 in 4.
Is bad or good?
Is good.
Okay.
Because
you shouldn't have to ask that.
Because I'm just looking at this list, and this isn't even Adam Sandler movies. This is a list of Dan Aykroyd movies that he's been pulled into via Adam Sandler. And like,
how many of them are David Spade in?
I love David Spade.
It kind of fell off.
No one has ever said that phrase ever.
Yeah,
I love David Spade.
I love Chris Farley, and that guy that does things.
His brand of comedic timing it doesn't.
I tolerate.
Did you watch Just Shoot Me?
I did.
It was a TV series. Not you, but also surprised that you did.
Guys, where are you?
What? Dange? What do you want, mate? I'm busy reading the script for the Big Trouble in Little China that you promised me.
Oh, well, excuse me, Gazzy Burton, but we have a very important record another episode of my Red Lip Wrestling podcast. No, wait, something else.
Oh, bloody hell. You get a second pod and you think you're Joe Rogan.
Wait, I've bloody remembered it. It's to record a message for our 4 horsemen of the retro apocalypse.
The saviors of everything 90s. You don't mean Brandon and Andrew, do you?
Yes, that's them.
Well, We've had the pleasure of knowing these rogues for almost 4 years. We have infiltrated their culture and their way of life by bulldozing our way into their pod and their lives.
A massive congratulations for 4 years of podcasting over the airwaves. Here's to many more years and a few more quotely 90s thrown in there as well.
Well, Dange, that certainly is a long one. Ooh, So let's give it back. Ah, fuck.
That's all right.
Let's give. All right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Well, Dange, that certainly is a long one. Ooh, So let's give them back their show and throw it back over to Mr. B. Schwitty and A-Rod.
Oh, you're A-Rod
Thanks,
now.
as always, for tossing it off across the pond. Which you can get arrested for in the UK, as far as I know.
Brilliant. Yeah, those are our mates, Gaz and Dange from Insanely Dangerous.
Our brother
Retro
horsemen
Pod
in
Show.
this retro apocalypse.
Yeah, Dange also has started, they started their own podcasting network, because now they have two shows. Dange has a wrestling show, which he just mentioned.
That's a really interesting concept.
I know we have, right? Starting a podcast network based off of your existing IP. Maybe we're right behind you, boys.
Which is 127.0. Oh, sorry. Intellectual property.
But yeah,
I was making a
go
computer
check out
joke.
Dange's new show. I know. We have at least one wrestling fan that listens to our show, which I think listens to their show, so they already know how to.
And we have faithfully covered no wrestling despite his repeated requests.
We talked about the winner. We talked about the winner of WrestleMania like the week after they asked.
No, wrestle. Okay.
Or like a year after they asked. But speaking of TIDRP, our next clip, we won our first Quotely 90s that they sent to us because they had been sending it to us, I think, since the start of last year. And we hadn't won by the time we had our 3rd year anniversary special. So this is us almost
it's the first and only one they got
again.
right. Not quite.
You kind of looked like you had a guess.
Yeah, but now I'm kind of self-conscious about my guess.
For me, it sounded familiar, like they all do. But I was just like a week or two ago, I was watching the scene from Pulp Fiction where Samuel L. Jackson takes the burger from the guys when they're, the scene where he's like, where he does the Bible quote, Ezekiel whatever 25, but before that he's like eating the burger, and I want to say he says, "God damn, this is some gourmet shit." Also, remind me to e-tag this episode.
Yeah, seriously.
But I that's like a very loose thing. What's your guess? You had a thought. It might help me.
I don't think I'm right, but
I don't think I'm right.
I was thinking possibly Independence Day.
Ooh.
Because James Hiller, I feel like there's a scene where like he and Harry Connick Jr. there's like an exchange in the locker room.
Okay.
I feel like there's something there where like he finds the ring and he says something, he kind of exclaims something, but that doesn't seem like colloquially the right term. I'm retracting my guess because his friend's name is Jimmy.
Who?
Not his name.
Oh,
Will Smith's friend is Jimmy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna retract that.
I
think I'm gonna have to defer to you.
Let's just go Pulp Fiction, just
Good
for
guess.
S's and G's. And here we lose another one.
All right, everybody, be cool.
Yes.
It's a great 90s movie.
God damn, Jimmy. This
You
is
did
serious
it.
gourmet shit.
Was said by Samuel L. Jackson in the 1994 crime drama movie Pulp Fiction.
And you got the
This is one
bonus
of my
points.
favorite 90s movies, and one that I was shocked yet again to hear that Dange had never seen it before.
What?
And if you want to hear me
he's like
talking
me.
about never watching Pulp Fiction until recently, you can listen to our episode that will be released sometime in June.
Find it on your platform of choice at the Insanely Dangerous Retropod Show. Now, let's send it right back over to Le Big Mac loving Brandon and the Royal with Cheese, Andrew.
Because in France they use the metric system.
Okay.
So it's can't. Oh, I was supposed to be not the Big Mac. It's a quarter pounder. They call a quarter pounder with cheese a Royale with cheese. Yes, we did it. Although I don't feel like I said the word Jules at any point. But that was his character. Jules and Vincent. Cool. We did it. We finally did it.
It's not an eighth kilogrammer, or roughly.
Yeah. That's the regular burger, right?
I mean, Big Macs are okay. I feel like with the new change where they made them saucier, they're actually worse.
I like the Big Mac sauce, but I like getting a double cheeseburger and just putting Big Mac sauce on it. Because I'm a fatty.
Fair. Bigger patties, more meat.
Well, they're the same size patties. I think.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, speaking of me trying to pull one over on you, our next clip package, unless you want to introduce it. Do you want to introduce it? I feel like I should introduce it.
Let me guess. Is this package actually a Letterboxd review of Hocus Pocus 2?
Oh, well, I guess
you should have posted this as a Letterboxd review so that it would technically be a Letterboxd review for Hocus Pocus 2. No, this is the segment, or this is the package where we listen to all the times that Brandon snuck in Hocus Pocus 2 reviews into my Letterboxd review games. And sometimes I got it right.
Indeed. I'd stick with actual good movies, like Fred movies. Does Fred have more than one movie?
Who's Fred?
Well, what is Fred?
He was a YouTuber and
was in Right Said?
No, well, I assume it was he was like a blonde kid with like a really annoying high pitched voice.
Hocus Pocus 2.
Okay, Kayla.
I guess I'll go with 1.
Hocus Pocus 1 or TMNT 1?
Either.
Okay. Andrew's actually correct. It's Hocus Pocus.
This 2. Is old hat for me. I know what's going on.
Oh, it's fair, but then I was like, am I supposed to know about Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, I think the list was so varied that it felt like that was where it was going. I don't know why.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Let's get back to it. Half
it's
star.
Funny that it didn't mention, stick to good movies like the original Hocus Pocus. Like, you didn't even reference the original.
I don't.
You might not think that one's very good either.
I'm just that good.
I don't think Black Peter Griff enjoyed the first Hocus Pocus either. Ruined one of my favorite Elton John songs, which was not the song sampled in Ninja Rap. That was Bohemian Rhapsody.
I was hoping.
Or not Bohemian Rhapsody. Under Pressure.
I'm going to say number 1.
Okay. And Andrew?
Number 1.
I'm going to go with number 1 as well.
All right. You're both wrong. That is a review for Hocus Pocus 2.
Was the song I'm Still Standing?
Probably.
Or The Bitch Is Back?
I haven't seen Hocus Pocus 2 or any of the Ninja Turtles.
I haven't seen Hocus Pocus 2 either. No, this game is I'm going to give you 2 reviews, and you're going to have to tell me which one sounds better, which movie you would rather watch based off of.
I know that is Hocus Pocus 2, but carry on.
How do you know that?
Because I remember you've used that one before.
Have I?
Yep.
So say what you will about how cheap this movie looks, how devoid it is of good ideas, the inexplicably terrible acting from a talented cast, the way every scene drags on as though they're trying to stretch out a 30-page script, and so on. But in spite of all those flaws, you have to actually admit that Walgreens really is a fantastic store where you can buy all kinds of wonderful products.
Is this a review for Hocus Pocus 2?
Dang it. Correct. You are correct on all accounts.
Yes.
Good Burger is actually a 90s Nickelodeon movie as well. It's because I left Walgreens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to change it to Good Burger, but I thought that would be too hard to pick.
Well, there was like that one Letterboxd review about something about a pharmacy that we read about Hocus Pocus
and then
2.
the Roombas and the Walgreens keep coming up because this was from October 23rd.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Of this year. So you couldn't have read this one before. Intense homosexual energy on wheels.
You know what? Was that bait to guess Hocus Pocus 2?
Possibly.
Anyway, moving on.
Why would I do that? 2 stars from Indy. This movie sure exists.
Hocus Pocus 2.
Damn it. You are correct. That is a new review for Hocus Pocus 2 since we've done this last.
Yes. Oh boy. This sounds decidedly like the 2017 one because I know it wasn't well received.
Yep.
I'm going 2017.
Let me check here. Oh, sorry. Somehow I
Hocus Pocus 2
threw in a Hocus Pocus 2 review.
That one wasn't fair.
Right off the bat. So weird. My bad.
That wasn't fair.
That wasn't fair. That wasn't fair. We should do something more fair.
I just don't know. I mean, I can't think of any other Paul Rudd movies at the moment.
I can't think of another Paul Rudd movie either.
Well, why would you just give me the answer? Ant-Man.
I can't possibly know why I would. Because this is a review for Clueless.
See, he does that where you think it's too obvious, so it can't be right. And then it's a review for goddamn Hocus Pocus 2. Every single time, which Paul Rudd was in, actually.
Was he actually?
No. No. It's goddamn Hocus Pocus 2. It really is. It really is. But the shenanigans where you try to fool me did not end there.
Yeah, you were able to. True. You did it.
It's gonna be Psych Blade for me.
All right, Andrew's pushed the number 2 seed Psych Blade all the way to the winner of this bracket. So I'm going to pull up a clip of Psych Blade and let Andrew bask in the winning. Share sound. Are you ready for this?
Oh yeah.
This video of Psych Blade.
Y'all ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. Rickroll. This is a good video. Doesn't get enough credit.
It's such a good video. So, what I did, Andrew, April Fools.
I've been trolled.
Let me just explain. This entire episode has been our April Fools episode because, you know what today is?
It must be April 1st.
It is April 1st.
In fact, it is March 27th, which is why I was caught off guard. So all this Cat Williams stuff was not real?
The things that I said Cat Williams said are not real, but he was on Club Shay Shay and Joe Rogan. And the only thing that is close to something that he said that is true is the ancient aliens and about.
But there is no question that, or no surprise that P. Diddy ended up being a creep.
Oh yeah, no, that's all factual. Cat Williams did say that the aliens built the Egyptian pyramids, on Joe Rogan, but everything else I said was a lie. And all of these X-Men, I had ChatGPT generate for me earlier today.
Amazing.
And so congratulations, Andrew, on our first April Fool's episode. I actually did like your justifications for these mutants, and their powers aren't too far off from what we said. But yeah, that's it for this week's edition. Name it. Or actually, how do you feel?
Bastard.
Hi, I'm Sam. And I'm Callum. And none of us forgot we were meant to wish our friends over at Namely 90s a happy 4th year anniversary. That's right. Andrew and Brandon once told us that we were their very favourite Christmas guests. so we didn't want to let them down. True story. Make sure to ask them about it. Sorry, other guests. We know how hard it is to keep this shit running and organised, so seriously well done, guys. Here's to 4 more years.
Thank you, Sam and Callum from One of Us is Bored.
4 more years. 4 more. Just watch the reruns.
Yeah.
Thank you for the kind message.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. No one, when she sent the email, she said, no one tell Callum that she did his voice. But
I thought it was serviceable as an impression.
Honestly, it did sound, it sounded a bit like him. Now she's trying to get us in trouble with all of our other friends, saying that she and Callum are favorites.
Yeah, that was a secret. It's a secret we don't tell everybody else. Also, what?
keep it on a DL. I very much enjoyed my April Fool's Day prank. That was episode 197, April Fool's, Andrew. And this next clip is from the episode last fall, episode 178. Step by Step is the Brady Bunch ? Variety show, because we were still in season 2 at that point.
Yes.
They marry while vacationing in Jamaica after a whirlwind courtship, and the dad plans an identical vacation to accidentally run into Carol with his family. They plan to keep their marriage a secret, but the dad accidentally reveals to his son that they are married during a barbecue he and Carol hold to introduce all the children to each other, leaving them surprised and angry at first. Was that the Brady Bunch or Step by Step?
Well, you used the character's name in it.
Carol?
Yeah.
They're both named Carol.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the other reason why I was like, what?
I want to go with... I want to say that's Brady Bunch.
That is Step by Step.
Oh, man. I feel like getting married while vacationing in Jamaica is kind of like a 70s thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or a 60s. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel very contemporary.
To be fair, the Brady's vacationed in Hawaii, where Bobby picked up a tiki.
Back when Hawaii was like all the rage, because that was like the first place you could go that was nice.
It was West Coast
in the US
Cuba.
On a plane. Yeah, exactly.
I really like that clip because I included the tiki noise when Bobby picks up the tiki, and the Brady Bunch goes da-na-na-na, and then the bash.
I guess parts of Florida are nice.
Yeah, if you like intolerant governments.
Yeah.
Late breaking news.
Pensioners.
So we asked for all of our friends to submit their congrats to us, and some of them remembered to do it, some of them didn't. It's not on them. It's on me only asking once and in a short amount of time. But we just got a late breaking message from our friend Scott Murphy of All 90s Action All the Time, and I'm just going to read it to you since I can see it.
All right.
Hey Brandon, I was listening to your episode today and I realized I totally forgot about this. Sorry, it has been a busy couple of weeks. Granted, I feel like I might stop listening after all of Andrew's Doctor Who slander. Just kidding. I just wanted to pass on my best for your 4-year anniversary and look forward to listening to the anniversary show. All the best, Scott. Thank you, Scott.
Very nice. Very kind.
And we're going to be on an episode of All 90s Action All the Time around September, I think. I don't know if we can spoil it. Yeah. I don't know if we can spoil which episode it is, but stay frosty on our socials, and yeah, you'll hear us over there.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce this package?
Yeah. Each Halloween we've had a special called Podcast of Horror, in which we watch some sort of Halloween or horror themed show or movie and do an episode on it. And sometimes have a guest.
Yes.
Right? I can't remember. Sorry.
One time we had a guest.
I believe it was inspired by the Treehouse of Horror series from The Simpsons. So let's take a look back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just wanted to check in with Brandon here, see how things are going. What's up over there?
So hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. 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 It's the week of Halloween.
Yes.
So we're going to do something special for this episode instead of basing it on a month in a year. We're trying out a format or an idea for just what we're going to be doing for our Christmas special. And we each picked an episode of 90s television that had a Halloween theme to it.
Yes.
And those episodes are Halloweeny, Season 2, Episode 5, The Adventures of Pete and Pete, and Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 5, Season 6, Episode 6.
I wasn't even aware that existed as a show, first of all. But I did watch it, and at first I was like, wow, 24 minutes of this?
Before indie was a thing, I think it was like an indie-style show.
The one thing it lacked was like significant spookiness.
Yes, I also would give it a 7. Although, as a kid, because I remember, I think it was either the year it came out or they replayed it another year, but I remember going trick-or-treating and then wanting to be home in time to watch that and then being spooked out by the pumpkin eaters. That's why I picked it. That, and you picked the Treehouse of Horror I would have picked, which I was surprised
I just remember
by.
it really well. It's such a good one. So I haven't watched The Simpsons in a long time, but I remember watching it in the 90s. Like the show, it's so smart and it's quite funny. So I was reading on the Wikipedia page that the I guess David Merkin, I don't know if he was a director, writer, and producer of The Simpsons. He said he deliberately placed more graphic violence in the episode due to complaints about excessive violence in the show in general. No. So basically, it's a take on The Shining, which I of course never saw because it's me.
Right.
Or the time, this is a different episode, but the time they add Mulk instead of milk with vitamin R. Like, drink Mulk. That's why I chose it. It's definitely one of my favorites. And watching it again as an adult was fun.
It's also a 9 for me for similar reasons. It would be a 10 if the time traveling toaster was a little bit better.
My name's Andrew, and over there is Brandon.
That's me.
AKA the Red Ranger.
Sorry, I had a helmet on.
Does that not have an oxygen supply or breathing holes? This is a very exciting day because it is the second annual Podcast of Horror 2. Well, I guess the second one isn't annual, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Our guest today is Janelle from That Girl Got Ghosted. Hi, Janelle. How are you doing?
What's up? Excited to be here. It's spooky season. It is my favorite time of the year. Much better than all the other holidays that follow. How do we just combine all the things that I like into one thing? And I'm like, I don't know. I like dating, I guess. And I wanted to be on The Bachelor, but I wanted to be The Bachelorette. Fuck being... Can I swear on this, by the way? I can swear, right?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll just throw an E tag on it.
Did you guys get into like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark too? Because that was also...
I read the Goosebumps books, but I don't know if there was any sort of...
There was a TV show on Fox.
I think I just read the books.
Fox Kids. Goosebumps. Definitely Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like, I would stay up and watch the intro with the they're all around the campfire.
People and pull them back into the basement. I still to this day have nightmares from that one.
I'm sorry. There's no good reason to have a basement. Just based on any horror or crime movie. Just don't have a basement. Right.
We watched Hocus Pocus. That's going to be the sole focus of the episode for Podcast of Horror 2. Thoughts on the name Thackeray?
Yeah, well, so the funny thing is, as a vet, I have heard and seen so many cats named Thackeray or Binks or Thackeray Binks, and I was like, what's that from? And I never really asked anyone. And then when I saw this movie, I was like, oh... You're done. Call me.
Yeah.
No.
That's why most women my age don't know how to date, mind you.
So you're saying you would have gone for the number give on the full sheet of paper, by the way?
Yeah, only because that's what Disney taught me to do.
It's not going to be a perennial favorite in my house, but it was watchable, more watchable than I expected.
Yeah, it's a feel good movie. Like we started at the beginning.
A big welcome to the Podcast of Horror 3. It's my favorite.
It is his new bit. Yeah, yet again, I'm dressed up in a Halloween costume. I'm clearly Han Solo, Captain Millennium Falcon, the ship that did the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs.
Even though it's a unit of distance and not time or speed.
Watch my prequel movie. It explains everything about that weird bit of information from the original Star Wars.
And we're just having a conversation here. Pew, pew, under the table. Kills that alien dude. Well, this year we watched a family favorite classic film, Gremlins 2: The New Batch. For those of you that don't know, Gremlins 2: The New Batch is a 1990 American black comedy horror film and the sequel to the 1984 film Gremlins. It was directed by someone I've never heard of and written by another person who is probably nobody.
Well, none of the Gremlins had.
He plays the smart gremlin.
Oh, he plays the smart gremlin.
The brain gremlin. Why does he have... I still don't understand why he has that accent. He's an American actor.
Because it sounds smart to be sophisticated and British.
To be South African?
I think he was going for British.
It wasn't British. Brain gremlin. I thought it was Brian Gremlin when I read the first time.
Blue screen type
The
things.
CG was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in this movie. But let's talk about all the stars in this film. Like... Phoebe Cates is in it. Andrew has no idea who that is, but
not a clue. It's like you're speaking a different language.
Yeah, that's all 80s. That's pre-Andrew's era.
And then I was like, I've been watching this for like 4.5 minutes, and the movie hasn't even started yet. This is going to take forever.
Yet. Yeah.
There are differences which can be dictated by the environment. It has to do like with the methylation pattern of their DNA, something called epigenetics. Are you familiar with this?
I'm not. Namely DNA on the Namely Network. And Gizmo finally finished his training montage, looking like Rambo. Andrew called it.
He just lights some fool on fire.
Yeah, he sets that whole spider ram on fire with
I'm burning this mofo down.
Paperclip bow and arrow.
Yeah, I liked that.
I enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it as much as the first one.
Okay. It's not a good movie. The only thing that attempts to and slightly brings it back is some of the smart satirical humor. Most of it's, and none of it's related to the storyline. It's just kind of background stuff. I'm probably still not going to see the first one.
I mean, unless we somehow become namely 80s, I don't think I could find a way to force you to see it.
That is true.
I guess that's it for this week's edition, a special Podcast of Horror 3 edition of Namely 90s. That's Andrew's joke. I'm sorry. I'm Captain Hammer. And these aren't the hammer.
Something about the gauntlet.
The hammer is my penis. Happy Podcast of Horror 4.
Yeah.
Is that how we do it?
Yeah, it's my favorite bit. I think it's probably not that funny, but I just
don't
love
even
to go
remember
with
that bit.
Podcast of Horror 4.
Podcast of Horror 4.
I don't think we did it for number 3. No, I like to beat a joke into the ground, so I'm sure I did it for every single episode. Yeah, and actually, I still cannot figure out how to get into Disney Plus, so...
You didn't watch it?
I watched it.
Oh, on the bad copy.
But actually, the quality was surprisingly good.
My episode was Boy Meets World, Season 5, Episode 17. Weird, 17. Does that mean they were like playing it all during the summer? The episode called And Then There Was Shaun.
Seems like a missed opportunity to call this Shaun of the Dead before the movie Shaun of the Dead existed.
This episode was a parody of various slasher films. Features the cast being stalked by an unknown killer after being trapped in the school during detention. And it is frequently been cited as one of the series' best episodes.
Remember there was a time where you as an educator could just call your student stupid? And then he like left a pencil mark as he slid to the ground. And then Corey goes, now we know how tall he was when he died, or something like that. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Pardon me for being so 90s here, but just dominant cleavage on this children's
Yeah, that's why I sent you the Family Guy clip.
Some Letterboxd reviews, but we're not going to do our usual, is it this or that? We're going to maybe possibly pick the movie that we watch for Podcast of Horror 5. All right. You just dodged another Hocus Pocus 2.
Yes.
So, based off of these reviews, you wanted to watch I Know What You Did Last Summer. So maybe we will watch that for the first time for Podcast of Horror 5, if we remember this at all.
All right. My pick this year was The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Season 4, Episode 7, Hex and the Single Guy. She says something about spending $300, and they were like, you spent $300 on the medium? She's like, no, I spent $300 for a hat. But the psychic.
But yeah, Scorpius turns out to be a heavy set white man.
He's still wearing the same PJs from the beginning of the episode, and then they like go over to the house from the back door from the pool house, and everything starts repeating. At which point I was like, oh, how are they going to resolve this? And then the end credits started playing, which is interesting because Boy Meets World was just stealing stuff from other things, but like it was cohesive. I kind of wondered what was going to happen next. Whereas with the and then the ending of the Fresh Prince episode where he just like, now he's in Groundhog Day, I was like, what? Boy Meets World, not my favorite show. I laughed at this episode a fair amount. I thought it was good.
Maybe it's better than you remember.
So there you go. That is my final answer.
And on that bombshell, no, that's Top Gear. Sorry.
It's time to get canceled. I mean, end.
And that's it for Podcasts of Horror 4.
What's up, fellas at Namely 90s? Can't believe it's been 4 years. That's amazing. Happy anniversary. Jamie here from the 80s and 90s Uncensored podcast. I hate Christmas. Do you remember Mariah Carey used to sing about all I want for Christmas is you? And you grow up and then you figure out that chicks want more than just you. Like you got to buy them stuff. Mariah was lying to us back in the 90s. All the moms with second jobs, fist fighting each other over Tickle Me Elmos at Kmart. I hate Christmas. I hate Christmas today, but I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me the last 2 Christmases and reviewing Christmas television episodes from the 90s. That's a real treat. It's a lot of fun, and I hope to continue doing that because it's pretty much the only thing I like about Christmas. Anyway, happy anniversary, guys. 4 years, wicked. Here's to another 4 years. Congratulations. Love the show. Keep in touch.
Thank you, Jamie.
We do love a 12 Days of Christmas specials special.
Yes. I mean, we'll have to have him back on again this year.
We've done 48 of those things, man.
We've done 48 of those things. Yeah, we've done 4 years of it because we started our first year.
We've done as a quarter, basically 25% of our actual episodes as bonus episodes in addition to the episodes we have published.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's wild.
That's crazy. Speaking of wild, for our first year anniversary, Andrew, you really dug deep, and you connected with our Lord and Savior Jewel. For those of you that don't remember, we would read Jewel's poems from a book of poetry that I got Andrew for our first Christmas.
Yeah, the book was called A Knight Without Armor. Knight spelled N-I-G-H-T. It was one of my favorite books. It was a lot of content came from that book, and sadly, it was donated by mistake, and I could never find it again.
You know, honestly, only about half of your content because I gave it to you for the first Christmas, and by this point in time, we stopped doing it. So,
but I did think for our 1 year anniversary, I wrote Brendan a little poem.
Oh, I didn't realize it was me. I thought it was for the audience. But to cap the bit running its course, Andrew's written his own special Jewel poem.
Have. Basically, what I did is I just typed like 3-word lines and looked at a thesaurus a lot and ended up with sort of a poem. It's kind of serious.
From the aspect of being a horny teen?
Not exactly. It actually is about the podcast 1 year anniversary in a way. You'll see. It's a bunch of rambling nonsense.
Okay.
I'm a little embarrassed. Okay. And now, well, that's not a reading. Anyway, this poem is entitled Anniversary. A humble beginning, the fleeting ideas of friends, each day a cobblestone in the meandering path of life, a seemingly daunting journey truncated by the passage of time, the regularity like that of an antique timepiece. Each week, a chapter in the encyclopedia of existence. Isolation, the cold, dark mistress forced upon each one of us, but of it born an idea, a sense of joy and nostalgia, formed from the ashes, 1 year a milestone for what was once just a thought. And then something about sex, followed by a rhetorical question. Thanks, Jewel.
Thanks, Jewel.
The end.
Wow, that actually started to get to me, and then like every other Jewel poem, it immediately took a turn at the end.
Oh God, I never want to write a poem again.
That was good. Sure, kudos. Wow, you went for something deep. Whereas
that took me. Can I just tell you that took me like 7 minutes to write. I just sat down and typed that crap out.
Brilliant. And yeah, that was a great poem.
Yeah, I love that. Each episode, a cobblestone in the meandering path of life.
Yeah, a fleeting friendship. I think you said at one point. Like,
we've been friends since forever.
Yeah,
that was fun though. That was fun to do.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna tee up this next one where you used your heart and soul and Jules' horniness to write a poem. I resurrected Ferbdon, our old AI companion from the beginning of season 3. No, it must have been season 2. And I wrote some Sonic fan fiction with us in it. There's this thing called Sonic fan fiction. Are you familiar with fan fiction, Andrew?
I am. Usually it's like horned up people writing about vampires. But not always.
I mean,
they're horned up though. There's something about fan fiction and being horned up.
It's never just like
just a nice story.
Yeah, it's bad.
You know, the phrase self-insert seems sort of appropriate, but I'm just not. I'm going to let you guys marinate on that and use your imagination.
I had him write a little self-insert fanfic Sonic. Sonic fan fiction for us. So I was thinking we can read this and see where it goes. This is Sonic and the Retro Podcast.
Oh, all right.
In the vibrant city of Mobotropolis, where the echoes of the 90s still lingered in every corner, Sonic the Hedgehog zipped through the streets with his usual speed and flair. But today, he wasn't alone in his adventures. Instead, he found himself invited to a very special podcast hosted by two unlikely companions, Andrew and Brandon.
I don't know that I'd call that an adventure, but...
Oh, yes.
Anyway, my turn.
Oh, yes.
Andrew, a hedgehog with a stubborn streak and a deep love for all things retro, adjusted his oversized headphones as he sat behind the microphone, ready to delve into the world of 90s nostalgia. Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of The Retro Zone. I'm your host, Andrew, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Brandon.
That's me.
Hey, Namely 90s listeners. This is Morgan Rowe from Zeitgeist Radio, a podcast where I interview people from different musical subcultures. Just wanted to drop by and wish Brandon and Andrew a huge congratulations on reaching 4 years of Namely 90s. I know how much passion and dedication it takes to keep a show going strong, and you two have done an amazing job of bringing back both the best and the worst of 90s pop culture back into our lives. You remind us of the great and also the cringe, not sure which one entertains me more. So here's to many more years of fantastic episodes. Keep up the great work, Brandon and Andrew. And let's hear it for Namely 90s.
Thank you, Morgan.
Very nice. Very appreciated.
Before I forget, she invited us on her show if we wanted to talk 90s music with her.
I could do that. Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah, me too. And check out Zeitgeist Radio. And if I haven't mentioned it, check out all of our other friends that have come on the show so far to wish us a happy 4 years. Are you ready for? See, I do it. I ask, "Are you ready for this?"
Yeah,
and then we do the. Are
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Let's talk about one of our segments, Boot or Reboot, where we watch the old version of a trailer and the new version of the new trailer of the new thing, and I tell Brandon which one I like better, or I would watch if I had to. Gun to head, which one would I watch?
I guess I should have introed this one because this was my baby that I thought of. We only did one before the 3-year anniversary, so this is all the other ones we've done since then. We're playing Boot or Reboot again. You may remember last time we did this, it was, what did we do? We did Point Break.
Really, it's like looking through like the pinhole in a box and you're trying to look at a solar eclipse.
Right. It's pretty bad. And
a solar eclipse of the heart.
Too loud? Sorry.
Central City used to be a peaceful place. Now,
that's that classic voiceover guy.
Is erupting from the city's core.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe it was over so quickly. All that anticipation, why bother?
Yeah, what an unsatisfying experience for
$20 for a fight that's over in 2 rounds.
Like that joke? Because
this is for children?
No, it was a primetime CBS show.
Okay, I was gonna
but
say.
they were in bed. And
I wasn't sure a premature ejaculation joke is appropriate for children, but
yeah, no, it's a family drama.
Yeah, again,
he's not just killing people.
TV in the 90s is exhausting.
All right, so this is a long one. This is a 5-minute trailer for the first.
I already think the music and soundtrack of the trailer is just so much better.
Right?
Is that young Sheldon?
I think it might be.
Hit by lightning.
How's he still alive?
Who says hit by lightning?
Good question. Good question.
Let's write this to be really natural, script people. He was hit with lightning. What?
Because he has lightning or something. Okay.
It's just like the biggest problem is when they shock people who are flatlined. That doesn't do anything.
You died,
anyway.
Right. Yeah.
You kept dying. Your heart kept stopping.
It's still beating.
Feels really fast.
See, you thought the world was
Oh, it's going downhill now.
You were going so fast, it only looked like everyone else was standing still.
So last time when we went with Boot or Reboot,
Yes.
I went with the original Point Break. It's, for me, it's the 2014 series all day long right here. I mean, there's just no question. The level of cheese with the 1990s one is just off the charts.
Hello.
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
Oh yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll show you yours if you show me mine. Wait, what?
Classic.
I'll show me you.
What?
I'll show yours if you show me. I'll show you mine if you'll show me yours. Wow. I could not get that out.
Was a thing you said.
He just answer the phone.
Don't answer the phone.
Open the door. Don't try to hide.
Basically, a low-budget stabist goes around killing blonde chicks. In a world. No, I'm just kidding. The fact that there's still a cordless phone seems stupid. I don't think I have any questions. I don't think any answers to any questions would help me make a decision here. This reboot seems legitimately scarier. You know, like it seems like it's less tongue-in-cheek and more actual horror. Feels worse. Like more forced.
Right.
And like a little too, it takes itself a little too seriously. Ooh. Boy, but if I had to watch one today, which one would I choose?
Yes.
Gosh, I think I'd have to go with the original.
And remember, we can stop it at any point. Because they're starting with skydiving. And yeah.
The music is bad. There's also, is this the same group that did the Diversity Christmas special? Is it?
I mean, yes, it is the same Power Rangers. They're ninja outfits.
That's the wrong culture.
It is the wrong culture, and why did I never realize that until now?
It's like the diamond on the forehead.
I don't remember.
Wow, this skyline. It's all just clearly made of foam. There's like two flashlights in the background.
Are you brave for us?
It's morphin' time.
This is your time.
Oh, sorry. They already started doing the thing in 2017 where they show the clips from the beginning of the trailer before the trailer. I'm just gonna stop it here. Can you guess who the face thing is?
That's Bryan Cranston. Does he also play a meth kingpin in this movie?
Unfortunately, no. That robot there in the corner.
Bill Hader.
Yes. Are you sure it wasn't Elizabeth Banks?
We're a legion of warriors. You must. Let's go.
I feel like when Bryan Cranston says "This is your destiny," that's just recorded from him when he goes to cash the check. This is your destiny.
I'm your density. What?
I'm your dentist.
This is your time.
If you sat me down and held a gun to my head and said, you have to watch one of these movies.
Which is the premise of this bit.
I'd watch the second one. I'd watch the newer one. I don't like the cheese of the original Power Rangers, which is kind of the charm and the point of the original Power Rangers, but
fair.
I personally just don't like it. So this just looked generally more watchable, though quite cringy with some of the dialogue and all that. But it was before it was cringy because it was cheesy. This is cringy because it takes itself too seriously. However, it looks like the more entertaining movie.
Okay.
Guess not.
Was that Drambuie?
Patrick Swayze.
Probably.
Oh, the voice. First of all, loving the voiceover. I just can't get over this voiceover guy. It was Sam Neill?
Sam Neill. Yeah, Sam Neill's his bodyguard mentor or something.
It's not a thing.
I'm not afraid of him.
They're friends, I think. Sorry, I keep saying Sam Neill. It's Sam Elliott.
Thank you. I was gonna say that's not Sam Neill. It looked like a no holds barred ass kicking fest.
What?
Well, I didn't realize I was gonna be watching a slap fight. First of all. There's that there's a competitive slapping now. Isn't a roadhouse located in an area where people are frequently traveling through? The keys are at the end of the road. I think the story makes a little bit more intuitive sense. Back in the 80s, it was always just two famous people in this industry, but it's not an industry where there's famous people.
The new one. But the new one looked kind of okay.
I'd probably watch the new one.
Yeah.
I realize that's sacrilege and in reality you would never watch the second one without watching the first one.
You watched the Footloose, didn't you?
But as far as which of off the trailers, which one looks like the better movie?
Because they both look bad.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Roadhouse is considered a great movie. It's just kind of a classic,
It's a cult classic, which usually to you means not good at all.
I can go to the beach. I can stay out as late as I want. I can do anything. I'm a free woman.
Christina Applegate.
TV rots your brain.
Is it the kid from the Santa Claus again?
No, this is 1991.
Don't tell Mom.
They hide
voiceover
the body.
Guy.
Oh, that is about a voiceover guy.
Yeah, concealing a body. Isn't that called tampering with a corpse? Isn't that punishable by jail time?
Yes.
A little bit more believable, maybe.
Okay. Wait, a little bit more believable that instead of just going to Australia, their mom had a mental breakdown and is going to Thailand for a retreat.
Okay, fair enough. I would already 100 times watch this over the other one. Just saying.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, but.
All right. I was going to say, is that the same babysitter from the previous movie?
A-frame hugs only. I didn't spend 3 hours in that sexual harassment course for nothing.
You're screwed.
Worst actor in the project. Just want to say that.
Nicole Richie?
Yes.
She's
that was horrible.
I object, sir.
I believed everything up until she started talking.
You already gave your decision.
That looks incredibly watchable compared to the first one.
Who are you?
I am the Doctor.
Wow. This is something.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a 30-second trailer for Doctor Who, the movie.
This is the 96 one?
This is the 96 one. This is
It seems like a parody. That was garbage. Honestly, that was one of the worst things I've seen. And the Americans thought they could do it better, huh?
The Americans thought they could buy the property and do it better.
I'm the Doctor.
What's up there?
So we already get the I'm the Doctor, which was said in the previous one. Concerns? Thoughts?
At first I thought it was Eddie Murphy. Well, so far, like the more epic music / soundtrack is a bit more appealing.
During Jodie Whittaker's run, they introduce a black woman doctor plotline.
Was she named 007 at the time? I would watch the reboot 1,000 times over before I'd watch that trash pile that you showed me initially. Oh man, those are the days.
Mm-hmm. One was literally the previous episode.
I would still watch the Don't Tell Mom reboot. That actually looks kind of funny.
That looks good. I haven't watched it yet though. Like you said you like gun to your head you would watch one of these movies. Have you watched any of the ones that we've done a Buddha reboot on yet?
No.
Not even the Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
No.
Because that one looked good. I just don't remember.
I did watch the first Footloose though.
You did watch, yeah, we talked about it in the episode. But that was after you watched the second Footloose, right?
No, I never watched the second one. The one with Julianne Hough? No, never watched it.
Oh, why did I think you did?
Yeah, I don't
know. So this next clip, speaking of you thinking Ncuti Gatwa was Eddie Murphy, this next clip comes from our 12 Days of Christmas Specials 2023, Day 7, featuring Wrath Stiff from The Canon and us watching the show Martin. And I don't know why, but Raph felt inclined to pick
the Black
Martin,
Show.
Yes, off of the list of stuff.
To be fair, when I first encountered that, I did not know which Martin you were referring to, frankly.
Yes, which we'll hear about in this clip. We brought you on to watch some 90s TV Christmas or holiday episodes. This one was Martin, season 3, episode 13. Go Tell It on the Martin. I did you suggest Martin or did I have it on the list? I don't remember.
You had it on the list,
okay.
And to be frank, I picked Martin because I figured you guys needed someone who had a bit of the cultural connection to Martin instead of, I don't know, just having some like white guy come on to talk about Martin with you guys.
Three white dudes like talking about Martin would have been. I mean, to be fair though, I was typing Martin into was it HBO Max or on Max?
Yes.
I typed in Martin, and I legitimately did not know if I was getting Martin Short or Steve Martin. And then I was surprised to see that it was Martin Lawrence. I had no inkling of which Martin or who this was. I really didn't.
Okay, well, yeah, that's like really white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for saving us.
I truly did not.
Is Martin Lawrence, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Dan and Manny here from the Nostalgia Test podcast, and just wanted to wish you happy anniversary of 4 years, namely 90s podcast.
4 years. Man, dude, they've been doing 90s before we started doing 90s. This is amazing. We are doing a 90s year, and these guys have been killing it for 4 years. I actually can't wait to have them on the show. I want to do Independence Day. Will they do it? Are you guys going to come on? This is a challenge. Your 4-year celebration challenge to come on the Nostalgia Test podcast and test Independence Day. Will it pass?
Will it pass? Just like Manny's internet, which just totally froze him this entire time. Will it pass? Will it pass Independence Day? Namely,
now
90s?
That was a close encounter.
And if you want to check out, actually,
Jeff Goldblum was in that.
Jeff Goldblum was in that.
Yes.
And we did have you, Brandon. We had a great time with Brandon from Namely 90s on one of our episodes. We did episode 74, 90s Power Ballads, which actually, Manny, is one of our highest
I would do
downloaded.
anything for love.
It's one of the highest downloaded episodes.
That
episode has been downloaded more times than any episode I believe that we've ever done.
Yes, of course, dude. 90s ballads, shit.
Love
you gotta
it.
bring back the ballads. Bring back the ballads. Stop the reboots, and let's put Independence Day to the test.
Yeah.
This is your challenge. Happy 4 years, guys.
4 years.
Keep doing what you're doing.
And if you like Namely 90s, you'll love the Nostalgia Test podcast. TheNostalgiaTestPodcast.com. Follow us on all social media. Hit us up. Namely 90s. We're here.
Sponsored by Lithology Brewing Company in Farmingdale, 211A Main Street.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, congratulations on having the high-rated episode there with them on the power ballads.
I know, right? Well, so you submitted your 5 too. So you added to the content, but you didn't get to be on the episode. But yeah, thanks Dan and Manny from the Nostalgia Test podcast, and go give episode number 74 an extra download and have them know that both power ballads and me are the reason that it's
and we just may have to take them up on this Independence Day idea.
Oh yeah, I'm down. We did our July special during, I think it was the end of season 1 on Independence Day.
It was that great speech. They can take our land, but they can't take our freedom. Wait, that's a different movie. Speaking of Mel Gibson, no, that's the next thing. That was a horrible segue, but just wait.
Yeah, it'll make sense in a second.
Speaking of people who are now dead, working alongside Ashley Judd and Ray Liotta. Rip to the max.
Rip to the max.
To Ashley Judd. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think we both had the same reaction to Bob Barker dying, which was
we did.
He's alive?
Yeah.
Like I had no idea.
Like no offense to Bob Barker, like rip to the max, man. But he retired in 2000, I think it was 2007, 2008, from The Price is Right, and he has not been in the public eye for the last 15 years-ish. Like that's how I learned Bob Barker had died. I was like, oh, that's cute, she's posting a Happy Gilmore photo. It was like her and Adam Sandler and Bob Barker, and
it's like rip to the max. You're like,
yeah,
oh.
It's like, oh. Anything else about Bob Barker rip to the max? Price is Right.
Peter Boyle, who won an Emmy for his role in season 3.
Oh wow.
Ripped to the max, and he died.
Ripped to the max.
Listening to an old Love Line where they had Daryl Hammond as their as their guest. My God, that guy can do a good impression.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't he like Trump before they started doing like current Trump before Alec Baldwin?
He's not dead. Also.
Why did I think he died? I guess he just retired.
Also, he's been the announcer since 2014.
First film in the series not to be directed by Wes Craven, and following his death in 2015, ripped to the max.
The band members did not speak from their breakup until 2008. That August, former producer and mentor Jerry Finn suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and died. Rip to the max.
Rip to the max. I think at some point in the future, we'll probably do a deeper dive.
Yeah, definitely.
That will honor him better. But rip to the max, Matthew Perry.
Yes, rip to the max.
And speaking of ripping to the max, let's do a quick thing for Suzanne Summers as well.
We're going to talk about Matthew Perry.
Rip to the max.
Rip to the max.
Apparently she ate Shelley Long. Bad Family
you
Guy
shouldn't
joke.
Speak that way about the dead.
I know. Rip to the max, Kirstie Alley, and Shelley Long's career.
I was at a Halloween party, and Matthew Perry died the weekend right before Halloween. Mm-hmm. So going around asking people what they're dressed as, and this woman goes, "I'm so and so from 13 going on 30," and my buddy looks at her and he says, "Damn, R.I.P. Matthew Perry, huh?" And she just has the most confused look on her face. She's like, "What the hell are you talking about,
movie.
Dude?" And I was like, "Yeah, bud, you're thinking of 17 again."
That's hilarious. Ooh, Bowflex and tangentially Suzanne Summers.
Okay.
Ripped to the max. She had the Thigh Master, and then she was with Chuck Norris for the Bowflex advertisements. And then Andre Braugher, ripped to the max. Just passed away, I think, last month, 2 months ago, for homicide, life on the street.
So didn't Eddie Van Halen die?
I mean, they could still use his song.
No, I know. I'm just saying, rip to the max.
Yes, rip to the max. Oh, speaking of which, rip to the max, Carl Weathers.
Yeah, I know him best as the guy with the false arm in Happy Gilmore.
Mm-hmm. Andrew, you were a little upset about good old boy, beer drinking, gunslinging recording artist who passed away recently.
Yeah, we lost Toby Keith last week. Not sure who we is. And
Dude, is that a rip to the max?
It's like a rip to the medium. I don't know. I feel like he was probably a bit bigoted, but did have some significant contributions to country music, and I did listen to some of his older stuff back in the day. So always kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, a man died. Yeah, rip to the max, Akira Toriyama. I might do a deep dive next week. And all that to say, rip to the max, Akira Toriyama. Thank you for Dragon Ball. Thank you for bringing anime to the West. Yeah.
Or bringing the West to anime.
All right.
I have a very special rip to the max tonight.
104. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Rip to the max to Star 101.5 with Kent and Allen in the mornings, which has just switched formats to Hank FM, which is real country with real something or another. I forgot that. I forgot the thing, the quote or whatever. But
just a lot of Beyonce.
Star 101.5 has ceased to exist.
Rip to the max.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were teeing up this next clip.
I love loss. I was. I need to just say something about this next clip. Yes. Entitled "Andrew Cancels Himself."
Episode 194, Oscars from the 90s.
I have to just preface this by saying, did not consider the implications of these statements until I said them. It was not an intentional wordplay or puns. And then I just kept putting my foot further in my mouth and it became funny.
Yeah. And I mean, I should be the one apologizing because anything you said could have just been taken at face value. But me being your comedy partner had to go there, and I apologized for you accidentally canceling yourself.
And I have to say, I in no way endorse Donald Trump. I mean, Mel Gibson. I mean, the ones that to me seem the most important are both Spielberg flicks.
Yep.
Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, like to the effect that people like war veterans had to leave the theater at the beginning of Saving Private Ryan. Like that speaks to the authenticity and the storytelling and the effects and all that.
Plus it led to like Band of Brothers.
Yeah. Schindler's List is more of a slow burn, but also very important and a good movie.
Slow burn.
I swear to God, I did not mean it that way. Meaning like, it's a very haunting movie.
I know.
But at the end of it, you're like, I'm glad I watched this.
I had to jump on this.
And I swear to God that that was a total like coincidence. I made that comment. I swear to God.
All right. I would also just since we're here, I would like to give a nod to Titanic because of the culture.
Yeah.
Pop culture. Yeah. Also Dances with Wolves. I didn't know Kevin Costner directed that.
Wasn't Titanic too soon? Just kidding.
I mean, we're still in the same century. Kevin Costner, Dances with Wolves. I think Dances with Wolves is a great movie. It's probably too slow for you as well if you're complaining about Forrest Gump.
I mean, all of these are excellent directors and undeniably good movies.
Yeah, and only one is a horrible person.
Which one is that again? Mel Gibson.
There you go.
God, I can't say anything right. This is a disaster.
Although Braveheart, I mean, that was a good movie.
Oh my God.
And then, there's a lot of people out there that love American Beauty.
See, the thing that's frustrating is normally I would like, my brain would come up with these puns and I would think about using them and think better of it. But in this case, I'm not trying to do any of this and it's driving me crazy.
Hey everyone, I'm Chase Keys.
And I'm Emmy Zero.
And we host a little show called SNEScapades, a chronological journey through the North American Super Nintendo library.
And we are back again to wish Brandon and Andrew of the Namely 90s podcast congratulations on another incredible podiversary.
Yes, as fellow 90s nerds, we love these guys and their show, and like them, we're always talking about things from the 90s that you love and remember. In our case, it's classic Super Nintendo games like Lester the Unlikely and Power Moves.
That's right. And look, I know in the past we've done some pretty silly sketches for these, but this year we decided straight up, no gimmicks. We're just going to talk about other classic things from the 90s, like our favorite movies. I mean, who could forget classic comedies like The Wonderful Ice Cream Suit and Big Bully?
Well, I certainly can't. And hey, let's not forget about some of the classic horror films from the decade either, like Shrunken Heads or Lord of Illusions.
Oh, yeah. Can't leave those out. But, you know, movies, yeah, sure. But it was a great time for TV shows, too. You had great sci-fi shows like VR5 and amazing sketch comedy like House of Buggin'. And, of course, that classic, quintessentially 90s sitcom. You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, I believe you are referring to Pigsty, my friend.
That's it!
Oh, and all the hours we'd spend watching Saturday morning cartoons, eating our Sprinkle Spangle cereal, and watching shows like Tales from the Crypt Keeper and Little Shop.
Going out to the backyard and recreating our favorite imported tokusatsu series, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, while chugging our Josta Cola.
Oh, how could I forget? But hey, we can't talk about 90s stuff without mentioning the music.
Oh, yeah. The music. Gotta talk about the music. I mean, who could forget incredible electronic acts like the KLF or Plaid?
Well, I know I can't, but let's not downplay how big hip-hop was in the 90s either, with huge hits from folks like Freak Nasty and Lord Tariq and Peter Guns.
Oh, yeah, and, you know, I guess we'll bring this to a close here. We'll bring this full circle and talk about movie soundtracks. Remember the tune from the Armageddon soundtrack? What was it?
I don't think I know that one.
Oh yeah. It was When the Rainbow Comes by Sean Colvin.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, of course we all know who Sean Colvin is, but what was Armageddon?
Oh, yeah, sorry. That reference might have been a little bit obscure. Just disregard it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. In any case, I hope you all enjoyed this little walk down memory lane with us. Congratulations again, Brandon and Andrew, on another podiversary. Here's to at least one more, I hope. And hopefully we'll be doing this again next year. So take care, folks.
And in the meantime, stay Josta nasty.
90s catchphrase.
Wow.
Yeah, thanks.
That took some work to find all that stuff no one's ever goddamn heard of.
But now I know it's like to be you, Andrew.
Yeah.
I recognized the Tokusatsu series because
it sounds like a type of ramen. That's why.
It's a Japanese. Well, yes, it does sound like a type of ramen, but it's they do a reference of it in, I want to say, I don't even remember. It was something that I watched or I played a game, and they're like, "That's what you remember," because like they reference Power Rangers, they reference VR Troopers, they reference everything. It's like, oh no, I recognize whatever they said. Yeah, thank you, Chase Keys, Nemi Zero. You may remember them all the way back from our first anniversary. Was it the first anniversary episode where they did the 90s con thing?
I can't recall. It's been too long now.
Well, they've done one for each year, I believe. Indeed. And thank you for doing it again.
Yes, thank you.
And as we're winding down here, we have one more favorite classic clip. Last clip of the episode. We have one more package afterwards, but if I remember correctly, so this is from 12 Days of Christmas Specials, the first round, day 4, featuring a very special podcast in ER, way back in 2020. The podcast features both Patrick M. Dunn, and Kate Halstead, the author. But Kat had, did I say Kate? Yeah, I think I kind of just Kat Halstead, the author. Kat had a connection problem because she was there when we started the meeting, but then dropped out.
This is our first guest recording, if I recall.
This was our first guest recording. It's number 4 because I was weird about the lineup the first few years, so we recorded out of order. But yeah, this was our first guest recording, and it was going terribly. And
we salvaged it in the parking lot of the Applebee's.
Exactly.
Hey guys, my name is Patrick M. Dunn, long-time listener of this show, first-time guest. I've been listening forever. I don't know, since the beginning of quarantine, maybe.
Yeah, May-ish, right?
Yeah, sure. Years in my mind.
Feels like it.
Yes, I'm the host of a very special podcast. My gal pal, Kat Halstead, the author, she's actually stuck in traffic right now. She's supposed to get here. She just sent a hot text, and she said there's been a really long red light in front of the Applebee's. You know that intersection, right?
Yeah. Is it long enough that she can get an order of bonus wings for us?
I mean, we can find out. What do you want as like a sauce? Like Chipotle?
I like the Chipotle is good.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a tangy, spicy chicken thing.
I'm pretty sure all they're doing is reheating those like frozen TGI Fridays appetizers and selling them at Applebee's. Everything's just frozen.
I mean, it works though. You're still gonna eat it.
Yeah. The thing is, they say millennials are killing Applebee's, but I love Applebee's. Like, which millennial is killing it? That's what I want to know. But
every month they have that. Every month they have that $2. Like, what is it? Every other month that margarita special. You get some kind of margarita for $2.
Yeah, who could beat cheap drinks?
They closed the Applebee's in my town like 3 years ago, so I've not been to an Applebee's in quite some time.
It's a crime.
Damn millennials.
So anyway, if she gets here, I'll tell her to bring all that stuff.
Hey, this is Patrick M. Dunn of a very special podcast. Just dialing in to say congratulations to Andrew and Brandon on 4 years of a Namely 90s. Oh, I can't believe it. You may know me from the last 4 holiday-themed episodes, and I'm hoping to come back this year to earn my 5 Timers Club jacket. And I'm really holding it to you guys, so I don't know, way to go. Very proud of you.
Big thank you on that one. Boy, what I'm hearing is a resounding please do a 5th year of Christmas specials.
Yeah, we might have to. Whatever our plans are, we might have to do the Christmas specials regardless of that. And
special limited release, which is what I have at the no, never mind.
And we can switch it up this year. We can add more things, less things, but we could start recording like in a month or 2. Yeah. So we get it done. But thank you to everyone that congratulated us on 4 years. Thank you for everyone that I reached out to and forgot. We love you anyways. And to all of our friends that I forgot to reach out to, I had an open statement on our socials, so clearly I don't post enough, or else you would have seen it. And thank you everyone who's ever been a guest on our show.
And I think this last package is a compilation of some of those guests.
Indeed. I misremembered. Apparently, I thought. Kayla's family used to just throw McDonald's wrappers out of the car on the freeway.
The story keeps getting more and more Bella.
That is literally the only thing I said.
Specifically McDonald's wrappers?
It was specifically McDonald's wrappers out the window.
I'm married to it.
It's
her. Them. I should have said them.
The wife.
The wife is here.
I'm here. Welcome back.
I'm queer. It's fine.
We're good. Later on, we're going to have a counterpoint about Kayla's family creating Trash Island,
which I apologized for in the last episode.
I know, but now it's funnier. We welcome back fan favorite, returning guest, Chase Keys and Emmy Zero from SNES Capades. Welcome back.
Thank you. It is good to be back.
This is probably in the upper echelon of decent Christmas or holiday specials.
We've watched some real crap.
We've watched some of those. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So you've been on both like the worst episode and probably one of the better.
Yeah, like the Power Rangers episodes. One is guilty of many of the things we talked about in the worst way possible.
you've taken introducing the guests from me this year. So
I guess I should say this is the episode 2 of our 4th annual. Our 4th annual
podcast of horror. No,
no, I don't even know what I'm doing.
12 days of Christmas special.
12 days of Christmas special. It is later than usual.
We're professionals.
12 days of Christmas specials.
We've done this for 4 years.
Guests from other pop culture podcasts join us to discuss episodes of 90s Christmas shows.
Any holiday shows, honestly.
Yeah, Christmas, Hanukkah.
But just... who's joining us today, Andrew?
Today we have Scott Murphy of All 90s Action All the Time and New Horror Express.
No, it's the synopsis that I kept up. No, it's my fault. It's the synopsis that I kept up for ages, even well past its sell-by date. I've changed it now, but that was very recently.
Did you see how fast I threw Brandon under the bus there, though? Why don't you tell us everything that's happened in the last year? No, I'm kidding.
A lot's happened, though.
Scottish rock opera, and we're like, what? I'm sorry, excuse me.
Or it's like, that's not a knife, that's a knife, and we're like, Crocodile Dundee. No, it must be Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter.
Well, I mean, we were close. What is that? I've never had a chance to ask.
That's probably.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he explains it.
That one.
Yes. And that is George, the pink hippo from Rainbow.
Oh, that's right. And once again, another returning guest. We have Sam and Callum of the One of Us is Bored podcast. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having us back.
Hi there. Yes, great to be here. Professionals, total pros. We're brilliant.
I'm proud, genuinely.
We are proud. Yeah, I'm proud too. It's a pretty big achievement. We pick a different theme each month. We'll select a number of themes that fit within films that fit within that theme, and we'll just have a chat about them. It's not really the sort of in-depth analysis that you'll get with other podcasts. We're more the sorts of conversations that you'd have with your friends as you leave the cinema after seeing a film. You know, we know our niche. Recent themes have included Twaugust, where we spent a month looking at the Twilight films.
What else does he say in the beginning? Sorry, everyone. Andrew got run over by a reindeer on his way home from our house Christmas Eve. But it's a Merry Christmas because I have our friend Shalina here from Everything 90s.
Everyone. Yay.
They have recess in Canada, right?
Of course, yes.
Well,
we're in the same continent.
Right, but I pulled this straight from Wikipedia article without doing any vetting. So I'm like, do they call it something else? Is it because you have
it's called recess?
Okay. Because I'm sure in like the UK it's called like outside timey-wimey or something like that. And
it might be called the same thing because they colonized Canada.
True.
The States. So it's probably the same.
Happy Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day. We're halfway to the new year.
And a special welcome to Morgan Rowe, our guest from the Zeitgeist Radio, I'm assuming podcast, or is it just Zeitgeist Radio?
It's a podcast, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, great to be here. I'm very excited. I'm also mystified by Bluesky, and you guys must be very fancy to have an invite. I was among fancy company here.
Eric wants to put on his own Christmas party, but he wants money to do so they can buy beer. And then
I love where he says that haggling is a skill you need as an adult. You need to be an adult. You need to learn how to haggle. I cannot haggle.
And then Eric's like, how about $50? And he's like, knock it off.
Yeah.
And we are joined yet again by another great guest from the Canon Essential Movies Watch List. We have Raph Stitt. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. The director's cut of Gremlins 2.
The director's cut, yes. Give us the original director of Gremlins and their take on Gremlins 2.
By the way,
Let's start that internet sensation right now. Let's be the guys who start demanding the Gremlins 2 director's cut. And let's see if we can gain momentum and maybe 2-3 years down the line we'll be looking back like, damn. there really is now a director's cut of Gremlins 2.
What would that be? Hashtag Snyder, Gremlins 2 Snyderverse, or
hashtag release the Gremlins cut.
Hashtag release the Gremlins cut.
We're workshopping.
And we welcome back another return guest, Jamie Fenderson from the 80s and 90s Uncensored. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me again. This is becoming like the only holiday tradition that I'm looking forward to. So I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Right, because you start with the first day of Christmas, and then you work your way up to 12 with each generation.
You're right,
and that would have taken the entirety of the show. So they didn't go for that.
They just started with 12, and then
the one flaw in an otherwise perfect episode.
True.
Brandon's comment says, "Somebody shoot me" should be the name of the sitcom. We have another fabulous returning guest podcast. We have Patrick M. Dunn from a very special podcast joining us for a fourth time. Kat is still at the Applebee's.
That first year.
BBW.
Yeah.
She's had a few Long Island iced teas, so she can't drive.
Yeah.
That's
Holding the lemon wedge, though. Holding that lemon wedge. The episode we selected was, I think it was the one before the last episode, or very close to it. Somewhere like near the end.
And Charmed was syndicated AF. Like that show was on constantly for a while.
I mean, I've probably seen every episode on TNT.
Duh.
Yeah, I was gonna say TNT.
AKA the Charmed channel.
Shawshank, then Charmed.
You go get like an oil change at Walmart at like 8:45 in the morning, and it's on in the waiting room.
Oh.
Who else is on that show? Mark Wahlberg? Is that?
Donnie
is on that show.
I knew it was a Wahlberg. I almost said Dennis. It's like Dennis Wahlberg.
Dennis the Menace Wahlberg. Yes.
He's the one who runs the hamburger franchise, probably. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we are happy to introduce a new guest today, Andy Watson of the Cowboy Jeff and Andy podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Andy and I know we know each other IRL.
IRL.
Andy and I know our podcast, namely 90s.
I'm going down to Oceano.
Is that the guy who says everything? He's amazing.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm working up a bit on you're ahead of me, man. I'm working up a bit on that guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I grew up California Gold. Yeah, my dad used to work out at the same gym with Ewell. It was
really?
a big exercise. He was all buffed out.
I'm not the world's biggest fan of the Beatles, and I get a lot of crap for that. And we're excited to welcome back another returning guest. We have Matt and Lauren from the Hops Geek News podcast. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Or New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to smack them. Mr. Feeney has the patience of a saint.
He really does, especially by living next to those goofballs.
Yeah.
I kept expecting Minkus to come in with a tire iron and break his kneecaps. I felt like it was going there.
That's the exact personality Minkus has too. He's gonna undercut your knees as you turn a corner leaving school.
Happy New Year, and we're happy to introduce a new guest to our podcast. We have Nick and Jim of the We Thought This Was Good podcast.
We thought this was good.
How are you guys doing? Thanks for joining us.
Good. All right. How
are you? Great. Now that Andrew's voice is out of my head.
Also, I'm just going to add a section about. Unfortunately, I, due to a scheduling conflict, cannot be at today's recording. So I thank our guests for coming on and hope you guys have a blast talking about this episode of Doug.
And you as well, Andrew.
Yeah. I think we were questioning Angels in the Outfield,
no.
which is unanimously agreed as a classic.
Yeah. JGL, man.
Yes.
How can you go wrong?
Everyone, Matthew McConaughey, that movie is stacked.
Adrian Brody.
Yeah. And then we could not find it anywhere. And then we're wondering if there's a reason why. Yeah.
Well, we're like, it's Disney, so this surely should be on Disney Plus.
Right.
Like, okay, it's not.
We both had to get it from the library. And even the librarians are like, oh, that's a classic. And when we watched it, we were kind of mortified.
Yeah.
Which, in all fairness, once someone puts the cop puts in his mouth, you probably killed him now. So the one thing that you chose to not kill someone with, you probably killed somebody. So.
Smoke bombs still explode. They are bombs. And the second tier was, you pay for us to go to Vegas with you.
Yeah.
But also, speaking of going to Vegas, we struck gold this week because Kayla's with us on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. I have been to Vegas with you too.
Oh, I think you're going to say, speaking of Vegas, I want someone to hit me. That's what I was expecting you to say.
So you guys vamp.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd was my ex-stepbrother.
Yeah, I mean, ex-stepbrother implies that it's kosher at that point, I suppose.
And I mean,
I think it's a little bit of a weird boundary that like you live together, but then like they're a love interest.
Are you vamping about incest?
Yeah, you said vamp.
No, not about never about incest. What is wrong with you two? Are you siblings? Cousins?
Maybe there's a question about that.
There is question if we're related or not.
Oh, that's good to know. Well,
wait, let me give backstory.
No, we're moving on to.
We're running out of show here. Oh man! And what a 4 years it has been.
Yeah. Always fun to look back at our guests and the laughs that they bring us. I forgot until I was editing this that you weren't in 2 of the specials this year.
Work got a little bit busier than usual. But yeah, I mean, shoot, we started this thing 4 years ago. I was a secret. I was recording, like I said, in the parking lot of a Yokes the first time, and then moved into that little like office rental a few times in downtown Spokane before I opened the Pod Shed, which is sadly, we're going to be saying rip to the max to the Pod Shed.
Rip to the max Pod Shed.
But excited for what's to come in the next year and years beyond that, for sure.
Indeed, yes. And that's it for our 4-year anniversary extravaganza here at Namely 90s, a part of the Namely Network. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Find us on Instagram, Bluesky, and YouTube at Namely 90s with a 90s, and tell us what you want us to talk about in future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/namely90s, also the 90s. And finally, you can contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Yes. Test it out. Tell us how much you love the show, and congratulate us on 4 years of doing this. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Audible. We could have gotten a college degree in this time that we did this show. Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and we'll catch you next time.
Would that be a BA or a BS?
Definitely BS.